Welcome to the Social Studies digital lessons to dear students and all the viewers of this digital lesson. Due to COVID-19, since last year it has become inevitable for us to make use of the online classes. Children, due to various reasons, you might have not followed the online classes consistently. Definitely there may be a few gaps in understanding all the concepts of previous class. For this reason, Telangana government planned to arrange this bridge course digital lessons at the beginning of this academic year to fill the gaps and prepare you for the next class. These classes help you to recollect the concepts you have learnt in the previous classes. Also for some students to enrich the knowledge on the concepts they have missed online classes in the last academic year. Now coming to the topic, we are going to learn today about maps, latitudes, longitudes and landforms. Children, where do we live? Yes, we live on the earth. What do you see in the sky? We see sun, moon, stars, clouds, etc. in the sky. So, do you think there is any interconnection between earth, moon, stars? Yes, you are right. All these are part of universe. Today, we are going to learn about a magnificent and unique and only planet with life on it, the earth. Do you know how fortunate we are to live on this planet? Because there is no other planet with life on it in our solar system, but due to human activities and negligence, life has become miserable on the earth. Few animals became extinct and we are facing a lot of adverse effects of global warming. It is high time now we have to save our planet earth by reducing pollution and conserving our natural resources. Today in this lesson, we will learn how the earth is connected to the solar system, where do we belong in this universe. We will also learn about the movements of the earth and its effects. Not only that, we shall learn about latitudes and their uses, longitudes and their uses. We shall learn about Greenwich Mean Time and Indian Standard Time, and last but not the least, we will end up with the different types of landforms on the earth. Children, please try to note the points we discuss in this lesson in your notebook, and do not forget to note down your doubts and get them clarified with the help of your teacher. Children, we all know that we live on the earth. Do you know where is this earth? Earth is a small part of the great universe. What does this universe comprise of? Let us see. In our previous classes, we have learnt about maps, how we use maps to know the direction of a place you desire to go, to explore the resources of a place or to get any kind of information related to a place. Here we shall learn something new about the maps in this lesson. Children, have you seen imaginary lines on the globe? Why are these lines drawn on the globe? What are the uses of it? Let us see. Children, till now we have learnt about maps, different types of maps, what are latitudes, how they divide earth into northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere, how longitudes divide earth into eastern and western hemispheres, what are the uses of latitudes, what are the uses of longitudes, and also about the importance of standard time of a country. Children, if we observe the globe, we see different colors and shapes indicating different landforms. We have learnt in our previous classes that the major landforms are mountains, plateaus and plains. The earth we live on is not the same everywhere. It is mainly divided into continents and oceans. Scientists named them as first order landforms. Continents are large masses of land and oceans are large water bodies. The surface of the continents is also not the same everywhere. We find mountains, plains and plateaus in different parts of the continents. These are called second order landforms. Children, we have learnt that continents and oceans are first order landforms, and then mountains, plateaus and plains are second order landforms. Now we will learn about the third order landforms. Third order landforms are formed due to the action of air and water. After watching this video, students will be able to explain about solar system and movements of the earth, explain the different types of maps, give examples for different types of maps and their uses, explain about latitudes and longitudes and their uses, explain how different types of landforms are formed, explain with examples the different types of landforms in India. Our universe. Earth is about 150 million kilometers far from the Sun. Sun is one among the millions of stars in a galaxy. Scientists believe there are millions of such galaxies in the universe. Universe comprises of galaxies, stars, planets, satellites. Sun and its planets are the part of the galaxy called Milky Way. Stars are millions of times larger than planets. Children, in this image you can observe that this is the image of a Milky Way. There are millions of stars in this Milky Way. Each and every point you observe in this, you can see each and every star has its own planets and satellites. Sun is the nearest star to the Earth. Stars have their own light. Earth is a planet. It does not reflect light on its own. It receives light from the Sun. Children, all the stars reflect light on their own. I mean, Sun is a burning star. Likewise, all the stars are burning in the galaxy and they give light on their own. Large group of millions of stars is a galaxy and large group of millions of galaxies is universe. Here you can observe there are millions of stars in this galaxy and each star has its own planets and satellites, and Sun is a part of this galaxy. Children, observe this image. See how small Earth is from Sun's point of view. Sun is much larger than Earth. It revolves round the Sun. Earth revolves round the Sun in its orbit. Not only Earth but other planets also move round the Sun in their own orbits. Orbit is an imaginary line or the path in which planets move around the Sun. The Sun and its planets together are called solar system. Children, you can see in this image that Earth is revolving around the Sun in its own orbit. Orbit is the path in which the planet moves around the Sun. There are 8 planets in our solar system. Mercury is the nearest planet in our solar system. Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune follow the order of their distance from the Sun. Pluto was earlier in the list as 9th planet, but as it declined the qualities of a planet, it was deleted from the list. Children, observe this image. You can see that all the planets are revolving round the Sun in their own orbits. They do not clash with each other. Every planet has its own orbit. They all move in an elliptical orbit. I mean, they move in a path which is in oval shape. So, they do not clash with each other and they all move in their own elliptical circles. Earth is the 3rd nearest planet to the Sun. It is the 5th largest planet in the solar system, made of rock and metal. The sunlight takes 8 minutes 20 seconds to reach the Earth. Children, in this image we can see Mercury is the nearest planet to the Sun. Next comes Venus. It is the 2nd nearest planet to the Sun, and Earth is the 3rd nearest planet to the Sun. Next comes Mars, which is the 4th nearest. Then comes Jupiter, which is the biggest planet in our solar system. Jupiter is the 5th nearest planet in solar system. Then comes Saturn, which has the highest number of satellites in the solar system. Then comes Uranus, and the last planet, which is the farthest planet in the solar system to the Sun, is Neptune. The shape of the Earth is spherical. It appears to be round like a ball. It is flattened at the poles and bulged in the middle. Earth has 2 types of movements, that is, one is rotation, second is revolution. Rotation. Circular movement of the Earth around its own axis is called rotation. Earth rotates from west towards east. Earth takes 1 day to complete one rotation, or 23 hours 56 minutes, that is 4.091 seconds, approximately 24 hours, which we call it as a day. Days and nights are caused due to rotation. Children, if you observe this image, you can see the arrow marks on the top of the image, which indicate that the Earth is rotating on its own axis and it is rotating from west towards east. The direction of the arrow mark is from west towards east. Children, observe this image. This image shows the revolution of the earth around the sun. That means, the earth while rotating on its own axis also moves round the sun, which is known as revolution. The movement of the earth in a fixed path around the sun while rotating on its own axis is called revolution. The earth completes one revolution around the sun in 1 year, or approximately 365 days, 6 hours. Seasons are caused due to revolution. Children, now let us learn about the types of maps. There are different types of maps which are called climatic maps, economic or resource maps, physical maps, political maps, road maps, topographic maps. These are the different types of maps. Children, now let us see in detail what these maps are used for. Climatic maps. These maps give information related to the climate and rainfall of a place. Cartographers. Cartographers are those who make the maps. Cartographers show these features with the help of different colors. Children, you can observe in this map, there are different shades of a color. Some places are in a light color shade and some are in a dark color shade. So, the variation in the shades and colors of the map indicate different features of the maps. Now, let us see what are the uses of economic or resource maps. Economic or resource maps. These maps show the natural resources available in a particular place or the economic activities of a place. Symbols are used to show pictures of natural resources for economic activities. Children, in your earlier classes, you might have learned in your earlier classes about the symbols of the maps, which indicate different symbols for different natural resources. For example, iron ore, coal, copper, petroleum, etc. Different symbols are used to show these natural resources on the map. Now, we shall see what are the uses of physical maps. These maps show physical features like mountains, rivers or lakes indicated by different colors. Generally, mountains are indicated in dark brown color, rivers or lakes are indicated in blue color. Political maps. These maps show boundaries of states, countries, continents and capital cities. Road maps. These are maps showing the network of national highways and state highways connected to airports, railway stations, which in turn connect cities and other important places. They are very useful for tourists. Tourists generally use these maps to explore new places and for adventures. Topographic maps. Topographic maps have contour lines that show the heights and shapes of a place. If the lines are quite far from each other, that means the slope of the land is gentle. Lines close to each other indicate steep climb. Children, in this image, you observe that there are few lines drawn vertically and horizontally. Vertical lines are in between north and south directions and horizontal lines are between east and west directions. So, what do you understand by these lines? Have you ever seen these lines on the map? Yes, the network of these lines, that is the horizontal and vertical lines on the map, is known as grid. Imaginary lines drawn on the globe joining east west and north south directions form a grid. These imaginary lines are called latitudes and longitudes. Grid is useful to identify the exact location of a place. Children, imagine if there are no lines or directions on this image, can you locate a place where exactly it is situated? So, these lines or the network of the grid, these imaginary lines, the network of latitudes and longitudes on the globe help in locating the places. Children, observe this image. The northernmost point is called the North Pole, the southernmost point is called the South Pole, and equator. Equator is an imaginary line around the middle of the earth at an equal distance from North Pole and the South Pole. Equator is also known as 0° latitude. It divides the earth into northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. Children, if you see this image, you can see the upper half, that is the area between equator and North Pole, is known as northern hemisphere, and the area between equator and South Pole is known as southern hemisphere. The imaginary lines parallel to the equator towards north and south are called latitudes. if you view the globe from the top, you will see these lines as circles. These parallel lines on the globe appear as circles. The equator is the longest circle, also known as Great Circle. There are 90 latitudes in the northern hemisphere and 90 latitudes in the southern hemisphere. Latitudes in the northern hemisphere are called north latitudes and the latitudes in the southern hemisphere are called south latitudes. Children, there are 90 latitudes in the northern hemisphere and 90 latitudes in the southern hemisphere, and apart from excluding equator, there are 90 latitudes in the northern hemisphere and 90 latitudes in the southern hemisphere. That means, the total number of latitudes is 181. The equator is at 0 degree and the north pole and south pole are at 90 degrees north and 90 degrees south respectively. Latitudes help us to know the climate of a place. Children, in your previous classes, you might have learned that region near the equator is hotter since the sun rays fall on the equator perpendicularly and slantingly near the poles. Therefore, when we move towards poles, we can say the climate near the equator is hot and the climate near the poles is cool, and the climate between the equator and poles is moderate. The imaginary lines passing through equator joining the north and south poles are called longitudes. Longitudes are 360 in number on the globe. Children, if you observe this image, longitudes are called meridians because all the places along same degree of longitude have midday at the same time. 0 degree longitude passing through Greenwich in London is known as Greenwich longitude. Children, the line marked in red is the Greenwich longitude, which is the 0 degree longitude which divides earth into eastern and western hemispheres. You can observe on the image the western hemisphere towards the left and eastern hemisphere towards the right. So, the left half is the western hemisphere. It has 180 longitudes and eastern hemisphere has 180 longitudes. 0 degree longitude divides the earth into two equal halves towards the east and west. It is also known as prime meridian or Greenwich meridian. Longitudes help us to know the time of a place. There are 180 longitudes towards east and 180 longitudes towards west from the Greenwich longitude. 180 degree east and west longitude is the same, and 180 degree east west longitude is also known as international date line. Children, longitudes are 360 in total, whereas latitudes are 181 in total. Though latitudes are 90 towards northern hemisphere and 90 towards southern hemisphere, including equator, they are 181, whereas here, because 180 degree east and west longitude is the same, so there is no variation in the total, that is, total longitudes come to 360. It takes 4 minutes for the sun's position to reach from one degree of longitude to the other. The time followed along Greenwich meridian is considered as Greenwich mean time. The time followed by the country based on the time of the chosen meridian that passes through its territory is known as standard time of that country. 82.5 east longitude of India is considered as the standard meridian for the whole country. The time of this meridian is called the Indian Standard Time. Indian Standard Time is 5 hours 30 minutes ahead of Greenwich Mean Time. For example, if it is 12 p.m. at Greenwich, the time in India will be 5:30 p.m. Children, let us observe this image. We can see 82.5 east longitude which passes nearby Sri Lanka. It is considered as the standard meridian for the whole country. In order to avoid confusion in fixing the timings for the country, this meridian, that is 82.5 east longitude, is considered as the standard meridian for the country, and the time of this meridian is followed by the whole country. You can see this. Children, in this image you can see few longitudes. We have learnt earlier that sun's position takes 4 minutes to reach from one longitude to the other. So, the longitude near Gujarat and the longitude near Arunachal Pradesh do not have the same time. Therefore, to avoid confusion in variation of different timings in the country, the longitude which passes through the center of the country, that is the 82.5 east longitude, is considered as the standard meridian and it is followed by the whole country. Children, in this image you can see that the line marked in red is Greenwich meridian, that is the prime meridian, and the line marked in green is standard meridian. So, there is 5.5 hours difference between Greenwich meridian and Indian standard meridian. So, there is 5.5 difference between Greenwich mean time and Indian standard time. Indian standard time is 5.5 hours ahead of Greenwich mean time. There are 5 oceans on the earth. They are Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, Indian Ocean, Arctic Ocean and Antarctic Ocean. Children, try to identify the oceans which are marked in black: Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, Indian Ocean, Antarctic Ocean, Arctic Ocean. There are 7 continents on the earth. They are Asia, Africa, Europe, North America, South America, Australia and Antarctica. Let us recollect what we have learnt in this lesson. Children, now let us learn about the different landforms. Children, observe the first order landforms in this flow chart. Children, observe the first order landforms in this image. Oceans and continents are the first order landforms. Second order landforms are mountains, plains and plateaus. Third order landforms, these landforms are formed by the action of wind and water. Valleys, hills, deltas, sand dunes form third order landforms. Children, observe different type of landforms in outline India map. The purple color indicates Himalayas, that is the mountains, and the green color indicates Indo-Gangetic plain. The brown color indicates peninsular plateau. The dark green color indicates coastal plains. The light brown color indicates desert, and the regions marked with orange indicate islands, that is Andaman and Nicobar Islands and Lakshadweep Islands. Children, try to identify the continents on the globe: Asia, Europe, Africa, Australia, South America and North America, Antarctica. Children, in this image you can see the second order landforms, that is mountains. These are again the second order landforms, that is plains filled with green. Children, these are the plateaus which are again the second order landforms. Children, what do you observe in this image? This is the image of third order landform delta. Sand dunes are also third order landforms. Valleys also come in the category of third order landforms. Let us observe the flow chart of first order landforms. Now, let us observe the flow chart of second order landforms. Mountains, plateaus and plains. These are the third order landforms: valleys, hills, deltas and sand dunes. Evaluation. What is solar system? What is a grid? What are its uses? Give examples for thematic maps. Mention different types of landforms and give examples. Identify different landforms of India in the given outline map. Children, hope you have understood the concept which we have discussed in this lesson well, and hope you have noted the doubts which you had, and please get them clarified with your teachers later on, and let us meet on the same platform in the next class to learn another concept. Thank you very much.